Welcome to the NPC Energy Podcast. Today, we're setting off on a simulated journey, exploring a pretty wild idea: humans and machines actually merging.
Right. And this isn't just, random speculation. We're looking at ideas from the sci-fi legend Isaac Asimov himself.
Exactly. We've got some anonymous sources that touch on Asimov's thinking about this convergence, and we'll connect that to what's happening now with technology.
Things that really hint at this future where the line between us and, well, machines gets fuzzy.
So our mission on this journey: unpack Asimov's vision, see how it stacks up against today's reality, and kind of ponder what it all means for you listening.
Let's dive in. Asimov's early thoughts. It's fascinating. He's famous for the three laws, of course.
Of course, can't escape those.
But if you really read his robot series, you see something else happening. The robots aren't just following rules. They evolve. They start showing these really complex, almost human-like traits over time.
Yeah, it wasn't static. And there's this interview, right, from '88.
That's the one.
Yeah.
1988. Asimov himself basically said, look, AI is getting more complex. Humans are getting more enhanced with tech. They're going to meet in the middle. The distinction. It's going to blur. Seriously blur.
Wow. That really makes you stop and think, doesn't it? Like, just in your own life, where do your abilities end? And your phone or your computer or whatever, where does that reliance begin?
Well, it's not a sharp line anymore, is it? Not for most of us.
Not at all. And Asimov wrote so much about this. Stories like Robot Dreams.
Robot Dreams, The Last Question. Really thought-provoking stuff. He saw this blending happening, but not like some, robot uprising.
No, not a battle. More like a gradual integration.
Exactly. A slow weave.
Yeah.
For humans, he pictured, serious enhancements. Think cybernetic arms, maybe neural implants.
Stuff that gives us abilities way beyond biology, or just like instant access to all information seamlessly.
Right. And for the AI side,
Yeah.
he saw them becoming more human-like, too. Developing emotional awareness.
Emotional awareness in AI, that's a big leap.
Huge. Maybe even integrating biologically somehow. It's hard to even picture. And he even hinted at something like spirituality or some deeper understanding.
Okay, that's really out there. But consider this. He predicted our devices, maybe like a future smartwatch, could understand how you're feeling, your emotional state, and actually respond with empathy.
Yeah, like it senses you're stressed and maybe suggests, hey, maybe grab some water. Or even offers to, talk.
Whoa, that's way beyond just tracking steps. That's connection, companionship almost.
It moves past pure function, doesn't it, into something else entirely.
Definitely. Okay, so let's shift gears a bit. Look at today. Are we seeing hints of this stuff now?
Oh, absolutely. Cybernetic limbs, for starters, they're not just props in movies anymore.
Right. Real people are using advanced prosthetics. And they're getting incredibly sophisticated, aren't they?
They really are. Not just replacing function, but sometimes enhancing it. The control systems, the integration, it's impressive.
And what about the brain stuff? Like Neuralink. They're actually doing human trials now.
Right, which is huge. Direct brain-computer communication.
Which is, straight out of Asimov's playbook almost. That kind of human enhancement he imagined.
It definitely brings us closer. The boundary between biology and technology gets less distinct.
And it's not just humans getting techie. AI is changing too. Remember Sophia the robot?
Oh, yeah. The one that got citizenship in Saudi Arabia.
Exactly. Citizenship. That alone just scrambles our categories, doesn't it?
Right.
How we even think about artificial beings.
It forces us to ask questions about personhood, rights, things we usually reserve for humans. Challenges those definitions.
Totally. And back to prosthetics for a sec. The ones with haptic feedback, where users can actually feel.
Sensory input makes a massive difference. It's not just a tool anymore. It feels like part of you.
That seamless integration again. Even like Boston Dynamics robots.
Yeah.
They move in ways that are starting to look, almost expressive.
Yeah, their agility is incredible. They're not the clunky robots from old movies. They navigate complex spaces, interact.
Suggests machines are getting more capable in ways that feel more human-like, or at least more biologically inspired.
It hints at a future where they can interact with us and the world much more naturally, more intuitively.
So, okay, all this tech is racing ahead.
Yeah.
AI gets more human-like, humans get more machine-like. Where does that leave us, our identity?
That's a million-dollar question, isn't it? It gets really philosophical really fast. What does it mean to be you when bits of you are potentially artificial or your thoughts are linked to a network?
Yeah. And this might sound weird, but do we sometimes act a bit like NPCs already? non-player characters.
What do you mean?
Like our daily routines. The commute, the coffee order, the small talk. Sometimes it feels a bit scripted, you know?
Huh. Following patterns, societal scripts. I see what you're saying. How much is genuine autonomy versus habit or expectation?
Right. And there's that research on digital amnesia. We don't remember phone numbers because our phone does.
We outsource memory, cognitive tasks even.
Is that like an early stage of merging? Our brains literally offloading work to external tech?
It's a fair question. What is the long-term effect on our own cognitive skills if we rely so much on devices? Does that capacity diminish?
And it's not just us leaning on tech. Remember that AI experiment where the AI basically invented its own language?
Oh, yeah, the Facebook AI. They had to shut it down because the researchers couldn't understand it.
Exactly. It shows AI can evolve in ways we just don't predict. Maybe you can't even comprehend.
That highlights the unpredictability, doesn't it, as AI gets more complex? Which brings up a key question for everyone listening, I think.
Yeah.
As we integrate more and more with this tech, are we shaping it, or is it shaping us in really fundamental ways we might not even realize yet?
Feels like both, maybe. A constant loop.
Probably. But it's not just about cool gadgets, is it? This convergence raises some heavy ethical stuff, existential questions.
Definitely. Like your sense of self, that feeling of me. What happens to that if you're part machine?
The boundaries just blur.
Yeah.
Physical boundaries, cognitive ones. What defines your identity then?
And consciousness. Where does that live if parts of you are silicon? If your brain is networked, who's actually in control? Are your thoughts really your own?
Huge questions about agency, autonomy. Could our own thoughts, our beliefs be subtly influenced or even controlled through that connection?
It's kind of scary to think about. Imagine a critical system failure in someone with, like, advanced neural implants running vital functions.
Yeah, what happens then? A literal crash? Does your existence need a reboot?
Unsettling. Makes you think about vulnerability.
Absolutely. If our well-being depends on these systems, we need serious safeguards, serious ethical frameworks, which aren't really there yet, are they?
Not even close, feels like.
Yeah.
This brings in ideas like transhumanism.
Right. The idea of using technology to go beyond our biological limits, enhance ourselves significantly.
To overcome weaknesses, maybe live longer, be smarter.
That's the core idea, using tech to transcend biology.
And then there's posthumanism, which sounds even further out.
Posthumanism sort of questions the whole definition of human. It suggests maybe the lines between human, animal, machine, they just dissolve eventually.
So intelligence or consciousness might not just be biological. It could exist in other forms.
That's the implication. It challenges our human-centric view of the universe, really. Asks us to imagine intelligence in forms we haven't conceived of.
It reminds me of that old thought experiment, the ship of Theseus.
Ah, yes. Replace every plank on the ship, one by one. Is it still the same ship at the end?
Exactly. Now apply that to us. If we replace biological parts with tech, piece by piece, at what point are you not you anymore?
It really hits that core question of identity and continuity, doesn't it? Especially when fundamental parts of us change.
So this leads to a big question for you listening. What parts of being human are truly essential, irreplaceable, even if technology advances like crazy?
Is it emotion? Our biology, our memories, our flaws? What must remain for us to still consider ourselves human?
Heavy stuff to think about. So as we wrap up this simulated journey today, thinking about Asimov, thinking about today's tech, what are the main takeaways?
Well, for me, it's that Asimov's vision wasn't just human versus robot. It was way more subtle. A gradual convergence, a complex stance.
Yeah, not a battle, but maybe. A partnership,
Yeah.
or at least an integration where both sides change, humans and AI evolving together.
Exactly. And that idea about acting like NPCs, maybe the flip side is true too.
How so?
Maybe these integrations don't just make us follow scripts. Maybe they give us new capabilities, allow us to interact with the world, with AI on a whole different level. We might become more in some ways.
That's an optimistic take. Not just loss of identity, but maybe gain, evolution.
It's possible. We shouldn't discount the potential for growth alongside the risks.
Okay, that's a really interesting angle. So here's a final thought to leave everyone with, something to mull over after this journey.
Lay it on us.
If these lines between human and machine do keep blurring, keep fading, what completely new definitions might emerge for life, for intelligence, even for consciousness itself?
Wow.
This whole evolving relationship, it definitely invites a lot more thinking, doesn't it? Something
Yeah.
to really consider.